So the planets right now are bringing a lot of crazy energy. And I wanted to pull some cards, some astrology cards, to kind of uh, see what was coming through. And I got Scorpio, Saturn, and Chiron with fixed, fixed sign energy. So that really is about the transformation of the pain that false structures have created within our lives, within this world, how we can create something different by learning with spiritual growth, the ninth house and Sagittarius, connecting to our moon sign, our inner world. We all just look at our sun signs and we don't even understand our inner world. And then that can be how, we can have midlife crisis. We can have, just a sudden upheavals because we aren't conscious of all that our subconscious mind is creating and doing based on its programming. So I want to do a tarot spread, and I have the Tower and the Eight of Pentacles. So this could feel like, like there's been a long journey, the Ten of Wands, of an upheaval. And, when I was shuffling before, I got the Lovers too with the Knight of Wands. So, this could feel like I get this energy with Saturn and then Uranus in house 6 and the moon. I get this energy that there has been a lot of like upheaval in what you have tried to build, trying to create that stability in the daily life, in the 6th house of what you really wanted to build and choose for yourself, not only in work and money, but in love and relationships as well. It almost feels like maybe this path has felt like a series of unfortunate events, and that there was a dream a long time ago, but it's taken so long that now you're just in this place of wanting to hold on to what you have. And, the journey of Saturn is such a difficult one when you look at the archetypes of where you're going to be connected. This is the most difficult journey, that of Saturn and Pluto, the scorpionic energy and the Capricornian energy. And, this one card reverse, the Six of Wands, like going down this path and working so hard but never receiving the recognition. 333, never having that alignment where you put something into it and you get something back, and then there's a co-creation that makes that spark happen, right? That miracle happen. It's like, Page of Swords and the Five of Pentacles, like learning and trying again and trial and error, but nothing seems to work. Nothing seems to give that recognition and stability that was seen when this choice was made, right? Two of Wands, the Emperor, the Seven of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles. Like, there was a practical plan. Yes, the path of the heart, the path of the dreams, but there was a practical plan. But it seems like there's just been one thing after another of unexpected things, really affecting the daily life, bringing up everything that was hidden in the subconscious, in the underbelly of the house 12, what was what was sent away to not deal with, the family karmic patterns, because these things come up. 6 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords in reverse, 4 of Swords. Learning how to actually heal these patterns, to work with healing these patterns like no one in your family line has ever done before. And this really affected relationships, the other, because the attachment wounds of feeling abandoned, of needing to know why you felt that way. You could have done, you could have done a lot of work on attachment wounds actually recently. And that could have been a big key to breaking through and actually having this rebirth as this new version that really is ready to kick ass and be strong and stand up for yourself, be courted in love, really truly knowing that what you have created is that there's something coming in for you in love and money, in your career as the Empress. There is abundance coming in for you. The worries that are happening right now are because I think, Queen of Wands reversed and Queen of Swords upright with the 9 of Swords here, not fully seeing the transformation that has occurred within, that is now really presenting itself on the outside, and other people are seeing it. Page of Wands, 3 of Cups. They're seeing where you're going. They're seeing what you're building, and they can sense that. And you almost, excuse me, you almost could feel that that there's people that are looking at you like in a way of who you see yourself becoming, but maybe that's it. There's like a lag in that. Queen of Cups, 5 of Swords, like you see it, you feel it inside, you feel it intuitively, but get in your head about this, because this is the conditioning that we've all had, the magician, to think that we don't have the tools. But this magician is looking into the sacred well and knows that they can create anything, and knows that there is the star, the 9 of Swords, that there is healing of this mental anguish, because the 5 of Swords and the 9 of Swords is like the worst mental self-sabotage pain. And oftentimes, Saturn and Scorpio and Chiron, that is the most brutal kind of pain, of mental psychological torment. 3 of Swords in reverse, death and rebirth here. Needing to learn how to transmute the most vicious pain within, right? That comes from family, that comes from close friends, that comes from the people you think you can trust, and or that just comes over and over and over and over again. 4 of Cups, to the point where you're just bored with life. 8 of Swords, trapped in that disillusionment of always needing to heal a heartbreak, always needing to heal a disappointment in whatever way it comes. But this energy is transformative. 6 of Swords, the crows. You might be seeing crows a lot. Crows come to help you when you are heartbroken, when you need that, when you need the stewards of death and rebirth to help you transform, this heartbreak. To stop looking to the past, to the triggers that family created, and to gain new perspectives. That hangman sometimes comes in and forces us to see things from a new perspective. Queen of Cups again. Why do I keep getting the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Swords? Like, there is an intuitive feeling, there is an intuitive knowing within. But all of the mental conflict of feeling powerless from the old patterns, not seeing how things can be built and co-created with spirit to bring that wish fulfillment. 3 of Pentacles and 9 of Cups. Queen of Pentacles. To like 3 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and 9 of Cups. This next phase is for you. This next phase is the compound effect of all of the work that you've done. The card just got like kind of crazy, and here the devil comes out. But then look at all these cards in the Hierophant. You have learned how to sit with that energy of the devil. 10 of Cups, 10 of Cups reversed, 10 of Cups upright, to see what is an illusion and what is real. 11:33 on the timer. To see what is an illusion and to see what is real. That is the greatest gift, to understand fool's gold. Ooh. 6 of Cups. Nobody say everything for a reason. Yeah, because to understand what is true emotional fulfillment based on what we think we want from the past, from our childhood, and how sometimes that can create illusions. How sometimes all of these painful lessons from childhood, from the past, are what take us down this journey of this spiritual path where we have to climb this ladder to enlightenment. The Fool and the Wheel of Fortune coming out together. This leap of faith is going to pay off in a way that is through divine timing and almost feels miraculous. It feels like there's been a long cycle. You know, Saturn is years of transformation. And sometimes people talk about like how they've just gone through like a whole transformation, like 1 to 2 years, like 2 years. And to be honest, that's kind of nothing. You know, talk to me after 10 years of of spiritual warfare, right? A lot of, like, I'm not saying everybody that has really created spiritual businesses right now is corrupt, but a lot of people who are in their spiritual ego have not really done the shadow work, and you can feel something icky and you can sense the difference. And there are people who have created really successful businesses that I'm sure are very wonderful and full of integrity. But it also is a very twisted, egoic place. Anytime you have people trying to ascend to some ladder, on some ladder in the world and gain some glory in the world, yeah, where is that? Here we go. Because you do want to chase those dreams, right? But do so with integrity and not just be thinking of yourself, right? Thinking of what you can do for the world, what you can bring about in this world, and how you can help others get out of the mind traps, right? The Chariot and the High Priestess and the Two of Wands. This path was calling you from your intuition was calling you down this path for as long as you can remember. And even though it has been a hard journey, it is going to be worth it. Saturn has just entered a completely new cycle in Aries, so all of that karma is completed. It's an old cycle. And if you have been paying off like family generational karmic patterns that weren't even yours for years and years and years, being trapped within them, because that's what it feels like with the series of unfortunate events, just over and over and over again, of family trauma, feeling like you're cursed. But Eight of Swords in reverse now with the Queen of Cups. Through following your intuition and getting out of that, getting out of the trauma that can be healed, the Eight of Swords, through getting out of that, you've created a new pattern, new pathways. Page of Swords again. And this Page of Swords is such a learner, is studying how to do things differently. The Fool, a new journey. A new journey is awakening. A new journey is happening, and it's only happening because you decided this, Jupiter, because you took that leap of faith. Uranus, radical change is afoot. Mercury. This Mercury retrograde could be very significant. And Mercury is the mind, house 6. So writing, connecting, something that you do with speaking in your day-to-day life. Trine and yin energy with the earth. So this is really talking about, and then house 1, the body. This is really talking about how nurturing that inner feminine energy and grounding it in the earth, like connecting our bodies to the earth, really helps us to create that blueprint for everything that we want to create, and the stability of our minds. And really, when we can ground ourselves in our bodies, there we go, Saturn and Mars and Chiron. So then the moving forward, and Pluto again, yeah, these are all such intense energies. So then moving forward, we can feel like the rigidity doesn't have such a hold on us because we've created a container to allow this transformation. It seems like there has been, this is the destined path, the North Node. To use this, Virgo, Libra, feminine energy, connecting to Pluto and Scorpio, to transform the Saturnalian and Martian energy, the energy of Saturn and Mars, that is beautiful in its masculinity and what it can create in the structure and the drive and the passion. But Chiron, the way that it has created wounds in this world, sometimes that has to be transformed through the yin, through the feminine energy. House 8, house 9. Needing to bring what was hidden, the taboo, to the surface, to learn about it. Saturn to actually, and to bring it into structure. Pluto, you could have some pretty intense Saturn and Pluto placements, like in your first house, by the sun, by this in the 7th or 8th house. there is a reason why this path has had to be what it has had to be. But things are shifting now. It gets lighter. It gets lighter now. 10 of Cups, the full happiness, the rainbow, following that rainbow to that pot of gold. 7 of Wands, you are protected. You have the high ground for this journey, for the decisions that you've made, even though it hasn't turned out what in the celebration that you thought you'd be in at this stage. It's more like it's been a really, really long journey and there's more to go. But that is what is making this so special. 10-10, this cycle is closing out. The people who are truly meant for greatness do not go through just like a tiny little 1 to 2 year cycle of finding themselves. This is like a really big journey. 5 of Wands in reverse, strength. So you don't want to fight anymore. You've been fighting for so long and going down this road. The Hierophant, the Knight of Wands, chasing that, waiting for your ships to come in. With the 3 of Wands here, and how long can we keep these flames going while we're waiting for the ships to come in, right? Do I need to keep chasing this next thing? No. It's about a leap of faith, the Fool. It's about allowing this next step and not forcing anything and trusting that you can actually allow yourself to rest. Because if we try to rest and then we feel so guilty about it where we never actually rest, then we're not even being productive in our rest. 4 of Wands. There's a new phase of stability coming. If that's been something, the Magician, that you've been trying to manifest, 9 of Swords, that has been weighing heavy on your mind, that's something that is coming in, the Star. And the 4 of Swords, there's some healing. There's a big healing. This is like really big healing. 9 of Pentacles. This has to do with your stability, the Emperor, the High Priestess, the fact that this path of intuition is leading to the material stability that you have believed it to bring, but maybe it's just been such a hard path that now 5 of Swords stuck in your head around this Ace of Pentacles, how to plant this, how to trust in the rooting of this new venture, this new seed, this next step. But 6 of Wands now upright. 6 of Wands, you are going to get the recognition now. Because like I said, Saturn has gone through a new cycle. And now together with Neptune in Aries, this is bringing about 2323, the spiritual path that people have been on that has truly required so much shadow work, so much integrity and subconscious integration, and choosing the path of the heart when it was hard every single time. That is bringing rewards now, Leo. Stay confident in yourself, because the loyalty that you've shown yourself by not stepping out of who you really are, of your true beliefs. Waters and Scorpio. This is the depth of the water. This is the transformation of the water. This is the fact that water can be any state, and all of the different phases that water can be is equal to how you can transform, Jupiter. And now this is time where luck is on your side. The moon, you might not see it. House 7, you might be seeing it be reflected around people around you, but that means it's coming to you, Uranus. It's coming to you in unexpected ways. And it's going to start coming in your daily life. it's going to start feeling consistent, because the small consistent wins are the ones that like really help us, aren't they? Neptune, the ones that we can like take in, that don't feel too overwhelming. Neptune and Aries, you know, as you follow your true beliefs, house 1, and embody them, Saturn is now going to reward that. 9 of Swords, the worries. The worries are there to allow ourselves to see them, to feel them, to sit with them, to move through our bodies, and we can release them. We can allow them to just be there, but we do not have to let them have power. And that just takes practice. The Empress, it takes practice of fixing, not the right word, but changing certain aspects of our thought process and how that affects our energy. The Emperor and the Empress, Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands in reverse, 6 of Pentacles. Getting the feedback, the reciprocity of what you put out there, put your energy into, and when you take action, that will happen when that will be easier to bring about when you allow your control to be guided by your intuition, and almost like, even when it's uncomfortable, release the reins a bit. Do all that you can, but then at some point release the reins and, you know, make the choices wisely of, you know, where to place that energy and where to allow rest and the receptive mode to come in, because that will make a big difference. Because it's like you don't have to work so tirelessly pushing the ball up the hill. Saturn has made it seem like it has to be a lot of hard work and suffering, and it's not about not putting in the work, but it's about doing it in a different way, where we're not so hard on ourselves, where we allow more passion and drive to bring us forward, and and like allow that dream, allow the possibility for miracles, allow some whimsy, some dreaming of what could be possible. Go within so that we can see that light that is guiding us to something bigger, because this is why you even probably ended up on this path that is so unconventional and needing to always be strategic. But there is going to be a new phase of really appreciating all that you've built. And soon after this next step, these next few steps, you're going to be sitting pretty, feeling that, looking at everything you've built, 8 of Pentacles, being so proud of what has been created. But instead of trying to control that outcome, allow this to come to you. Do what you can do, that you know these action steps are going to bring you forward. But after that, allow some dreaming, allow some positive expectation of, you know, what you really dream of. You can research all you want and drive forward all you want, but don't let the worries of the mind stop your intuition from really, truly reaching for the stars. Okay, I'm going to end it on here. 9 of Pentacles. See, because this is really like feeling so good in yourself. King of Pentacles. This is all manifesting for the Magician. You have all the tools. And a lot of the tools that you have now are created because of how tumultuous and treacherous and tiring this journey has been. And you will be able to face anything that comes next. Rest assured. Rest assured. Okay, whew, that felt like a really good wave of energy. I hope you felt that too. Feel inspired to, just keep going and see that this path is going to get easier, and that it had to be this way for a reason, so that we can find, because when we can find some meaning in the suffering, we can understand how to work through it and why we are here. And when we have a purpose, we have a drive and we have a reason, and we will keep going, and we will really achieve something so great. Because again, think about all of the stories that you really admire. Did all of these people had to go on these really long, arduous journeys to really stand in their power and transform Scorpio, transform water, transform the depths of the water within us, Jupiter, so that we can expand. And the square, sometimes that takes agitation, Pluto, that takes like the crumbling of what we held dear in order for us to learn how to build something new from scratch based on, what is really meant for us. Whew. That was a good channel for tonight. If you want a personal reading, you can go to the link in my bio and, subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for liking the video, for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one.